Brown in the back there. A favorite of our guests. Jack Long is the founder of Long and McQuade, which is the largest chain of musical instrument retailers in Canada. 60 locations from British Columbia to Newfoundland. You still know how to use your buttons there?
What, you don't like my shirt?
No, you turn on your microphone. And he has joined us in studio. Nice to see you, sir.
Good to be here.
I didn't realize you had that many locations. I knew that you were spread out wide, but I didn't realize. Did it all begin in Toronto?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you were a trumpet player. You still play the horn a little bit?
Yes, I do.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
Good for you. You must be pretty good, is my guess.
Not as good as I think I am.
But do you think you could take 10 on right now?
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
I'll give them a go.
Yeah, I have.
Humberside versus Runnymede?
That's
sure.
right. You went to Humberside, I went to Runnymede. Almost neighbors, really.
Yeah.
1956 is when it all began.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's
It is a long time.
It is. It's 57 years.
It's a long time to keep the same job, same gig.
It is.
That many
I have to be honest with you. I have to confess. When I was 12 years old or whatever it was, grade 7 or 8, my friend and I decided it was important for us to have a band. He played the guitar, and I said, well, I'll play the drums. I didn't know any drums. And I don't know how, but we got booked in to play somebody's birthday party or something. So I had to rent drums. So I went to your store, and I rented the drums. I brought them back on the subway. They were all there. And went to pay, and I wrote a check. The problem was I had an account in a credit union that didn't allow check writing, so I kind of stiffed you.
Are you going to straighten up now?
I don't know how much it was. Well,
18 cents.
Wow, with interest, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt terrible. I just kept thinking every day, oh my God, somebody's going to knock on the door, or there's going to be a phone call.
It would have been Fred Delico.
I'm going.
Fred Delico would have strong-armed
And
you.
I'm going to the Who's Gal. What made you decide that this was a good idea back in 1956? Was it because there was a shortage of places here in Toronto?
No, I don't think there was a shortage of places. That never occurred to me if it was. I didn't know enough about it to know. I thought I'd like to start a business. Not that I knew the first thing about it. And my wife bought me a book. And the idea of the book was, if you want to start a business, start it in something you know. Well, the only thing I knew anything about was music.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, well, I'll give that a try. And that's where it went.
Wow.
I didn't know the first thing about business.
And how has the business changed over the years? Like, was there a time when you weren't selling many horns, for example? Because it seems to me there was a time when a lot of the bands didn't have live musical backing. It was all synthesizers.
There was a bit of being a trumpet player, horns have always been a big part of our business. There was a time, I would guess in the 60s, early 70s, when that part of the business did dip somewhat, but it came right back.
But you always relied on the bands, the high school bands, and those programs, right?
Yeah, well, we kind of
keep them
rely on
in
everything. We try to cover everything.
Right.
And do you do more sales or more rental?
Well, we do more sales than rentals, but we do a lot of rentals.
Yeah.
We would have maybe 60,000 instruments out at any given time on rental across the country.
Yeah, but other music stores weren't doing that back then.
Well, they still don't.
I know. I mean, how
do
did you come up
band
with this
instruments.
concept? Where did this come from?
Well, that's a story I've told many times, but I'll tell it one more time. When Jack McQuade, who was my partner at the time, were in the store. We had our little store on Yonge Street, and we weren't doing much business. But we had a lot of friends. We were both professional musicians, and we had a lot of friends who were professional musicians, and they'd come and hang around the store. And then they would say, oh, by the way, I got an after-hours gig tonight. Can I borrow a bass drum and snare drum and a hi-hat and a ride cymbal? That's all I need. I can do this little after-hours thing. Or the alto player would say, I've got a gig on tenor tonight. And then the guitar player started saying, I need a bigger amp for the thing I've got tonight, whatever. And we would lend them to them. And Jack Jack and I had a little meeting one day, and we said, what are we going to do? We're not doing much business. We're here every day, but nobody buys anything, or not much. And one of us, I forget which one, said, well, all these people that borrow things, why don't we charge them? Because there's no reason why they
It was
shouldn't
ingenious.
pay. So it was all for one day. So we thought, well, how much will we charge them? Well, we decided if it was a big thing, it would be $4, and if it was a small thing, it would be $3. And that was our sophistication. So we started that, and we thought it might discourage it. It didn't discourage it. In fact, it encouraged it, because they'd say, oh, well, all right, if you're going to charge me, can I get it next Friday too? They felt better about it. They didn't really want to ask their friends over
Well,
and over.
and I mean, you're operating without any kind of a blueprint, so that's, you look back now, and anybody who's running a business similarly, or they just look at how you did it, and that's how they base their hopes of success. Jack Long, Long and McQuade Music, he's our guest in studio. We're back with more in just a moment. 1:15 right now. Newstalk 1010, time saver traffic first.
Well, the weather causing its own standards, some of
That's fascinating. You know?
No kidding.
Long and McQuade, 57 years now. Is this what it is? Yeah, 57 years. Good Lord, I was 3 when you opened up your store.
How many times did you see Ellington Orchestra?
Oh, not that many. Two or three, three or four.
Okay.
I played
Here in Toronto?
once or twice. I was playing once at Big One Inn. Do you remember Big One Inn?
No, I know they've got a golf course up there now.
Yeah, well, there was Big One Inn was a very high-class resort for very wealthy people. And they used to bring featured bands in once in a while. And I was playing there for a summer with the Benny Lewis band. Do you remember Benny Lewis? And they brought Duke Ellington in for 2 nights. And we just got to listen.
Was Ray Nance with them then? Or?
No, he wasn't. That
But
was,
you must have spent some time watching some of the greats perform down on the lakeshore at
Palais Royale.
Palais Royale.
Palace Pier.
Oh, and
Palace Pier was the one that used to bring the name bands. The Palais Royale, Palais Royal as we call it, mostly had Bert Niosi band, and they were there for years.
Now the Palace Pier, was that Burlington?
No, the Palace
Where?
Pier was right at the sort of at the bottom of the Kingsway.
Okay.
Just at the end of the city at that time, and it was a big thing that jutted out built out over the lake. And they had a band there called Trump Davidson that played about 4 nights a week, but then they would bring Lionel Hampton, Earl Hines, Louis Armstrong, Artie Shaw.
Everybody you wanted to see?
Everybody would get
Yeah.
there sooner or later.
Yeah, let's go back to talk about your shops, plural, 60 locations, Long and McQuade shops, from British Columbia right to Newfoundland. You're the largest in this country of print music retailer for sheet music.
Yeah, I guess we are. Just because we have so many stores.
Yeah.
If you sell a little in each store, it's a lot.
And sheet music, who do you sell that to? Is this to high school
Well,
bands?
a lot of it is actually study books, method books.
Mm-hmm.
Sheet music per se is kind of gone for the most part.
Because you can download it and print
You
it
can
yourself.
download it and print it.
And you have music teachers at your stores as well?
Some of the stores do. Most of the stores do.
What kind of lessons do you give?
Well,
Like if I wanted to start playing trumpet again,
yeah.
would I go down and would you do that for me,
Yeah,
or
sure.
do you have a?
Oh yeah.
Do you teach still?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't.
But you have people to do.
Yeah. Now, in our largest store on Bloor Street, which was the original store twice removed, and it's our largest store, we do not have teaching because we have no space for it.
Mm-hmm.
But in most of the other stores, we do.
And you buy and sell equipment. So if somebody wanted to get rid of their guitar because they wanted to upgrade, they could go and sell their guitar to you and purchase the upgraded one in your store.
They
at the
trade it
same
in.
time. Trade it in, and yeah.
Or they can just sell it to us and go and buy one somewhere else if they want. We don't prefer that, but we will do.
Mm-hmm. Now you've got an interesting concept going on. Any items purchased as a Christmas gift after the 1st of November will be accepted for a return up until January 15th.
Oh, yeah.
Some people go out and buy a Christmas gift and think that their kid's going to want a ukulele.
That's right.
And the kid says, I don't want a ukulele,
Yeah.
Mom. And then they bring it back.
Well, we have a policy, anything can be returned within a month with no questions or deductions or
Uh-huh.
anything. So we just expand that a little bit around Christmas because a month isn't much if they're buying a Christmas present in November.
And you have you offer repairs and service as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is there anything you don't offer?
If there is, we try and find out what it is and do that too.
That's amazing.
You still have to chase people down?
Sure.
I always love this. Fred Delago will be knocking on your door. I want that amp.
Now you must have had some people as customers who, as you in their youth, who turned out to be quite impressive professional musicians in the city because we've got a lot of great musicians in
Yeah.
the city.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, well, a lot of them we knew when, so
Yeah.
to speak. Yeah. In fact, you know, I have 6 children. My wife and I have 6 children, and 5 of them played something and played in bands, and the bands all rehearsed in our basement. So we saw a lot of kids come through our basement when they were 13, 14, 15, 16, who are now kind of top of the heap.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool, huh?
It's great.
You still enjoy going to work?
Well, yeah. I
'Cause
go every day.
How old are you? Can I ask you that?
Do I tell the truth? Yes, I'll tell the truth. I'm 84.
84.
Yeah.
Good Lord, you look great.
So when I called him for the show, right?
Yeah.
And I asked
That
him, I
was
said,
funny.
Jack, I said, and he answers, and I go, I'm thinking that must be a son or a son. I went, can I talk to the real Jack?
And I said, I am the
I am the real Jack.
Yeah, that's great. And your locations from Newfoundland all the way out to British Columbia. When did you start moving out of the city? When did you start building this?
Actually, we had our second store 12 years after we had our first store. And that was in Vancouver. We went from Toronto to Vancouver and then started to fill in between.
Mm-hmm.
We just went into Newfoundland about 7 or 8 years ago to go to the other coast.
And the original one was Young and just a block up from Young and Bloor, right?
Yes, right. Collier. Young
That's
and
right.
Collier.
And who was your main guy? You had this guy that was there for years and years.
You mean Bob Abbott?
Bob Abbott was the guy, Mr. Personality. You know, he could sell you anything. How many years was he? He was there for a
Oh,
while.
yeah, he was there a long time.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
still around. His wife just retired from our store. She was our controller. She just retired about a month ago.
Right.
And of course, Bob's always around. We see him at
That's great.
all the parties.
And you had the best Newton Garwood, who we all of us miss.
Newton was the best.
He was
the best.
It was the bridge with the community,
Yeah.
with the musicians.
Yeah.
That was just so needed.
Wonderful person.
I want to thank you very much for coming in. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm sorry I ripped you off all those years ago. I swear to you, it was not on purpose.
Did you say where you're living now?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't want some big guy showing up. Thank you very much, Jack.
Okay,
All the best to
thank
you. Jack Long from Long and McQuade, the largest chain of musical instrument retailers in this country. Coming up, His Honor, the Honorable David C. Onley, Lieutenant Governor of the Province of Ontario.